Ghana knew already say Akuffo ntimi nkra fuel man. Tinubu so na owo Nigeria obetimi ma fuel to be special guest. Now why am special guest na me ho cheme na me se bo ame a. We ka chem say wo mo ame. We ni paboni. Owie ye no. E no de Olusegun Obasanjo e betena ho. E na osan so de Goodluck Jonathan Nadamfo enso be teto.
Hello guys, out of where science so eshisha bio. Me tell no pa we me bra mo update and me chechu say Gridco ka say Ghana ye hia gas e dey produce electricity. Now before Gridco crab ba bonti aba be ka say Ghana hia gas e dey produce electricity no. Now President Mahama aba be ka say there are a lot of plotter or more plotty against when it comes to the energy sector. Now, for getting into the energy sector, no, it happens to be say gas only produce electricity. President Akuffo, then President Akuffo, one crabby and famba. Akuffo coy and one crab for one farm Ghana for it will produce electricity. Now the aka or hono a baby 5 days, 5 hours, a be say 9 days pay. Now, sir, now President Mahama, share Ghana for boss will be making sure say obeying. Or in fact, obey Ghana for kuma tom we light in the Dumsor no be solve. Na me mo kase Captain Smart ababekasa mayen deep information concerning how President Mahama afaso tackle this Dumsor situation. Gas wafaso akrabi gas me mo kase yese na nkwemu a eba. Captain Smart ni nsemo kan live on TV na say betie no. Yeni kan tie nsemo a President Mahama kan wo this side concerning the energy sector. Crisis ekoso ho. Out of war is so sad. This
government has not been able to add one single drop of oil or gas, cubic meter of gas, to what they inherited from us. And that is for many parochial reasons. You know, the producers in the oil and gas sector have not been happy. Some have been hounded out. He and I went to Cote d'Ivoire for many years, went and invested there and came up with the Baleine field. And that has been at the expense of what they were doing in Ghana, you know. We tied down Tallow in litigation over tax, which I thought we could have sat across the table and discussed amicably. Unfortunately, we lost the arbitration and were thrown out. And there are two other aspects of that tax issue that we need to sit with them. And if we can negotiate and agree a mutual agreement, then I think that would be the better option to take, and to encourage as many players in our oil and gas sector as possible. I was vice president at the time. My president, Professor Atta Mills, signed the MCC. Actually, I signed it, but he initiated the discussions. When he was ready to sign, I was the one who signed it. And it was meant to improve and make Ghana the most efficient producer of electricity in Africa and become a major hub for electricity exports. Unfortunately, democracy has its dividends, but it also sometimes can be a curse. We left government and a new government took over and took over the Millennium Challenge Compact, mixed up the last segment of it, which was providing efficiency in distribution, billing, metering, and all that. And of course, PDS is history now. But we want to take a look at that again, because if we don't fix the Electricity Company of Ghana, we will continue to have a major problem with our whole power value chain. I spoke to the Americans during my last visit to the US. We met the Millennium Challenge Corporation, and we asked if it was possible for them to reinstate the $190 million that they had devoted to that aspect of it. And they said the door is not closed. And so we need to pursue that discussion. Or if we don't have access to the 190 million, if the World Bank can support us, you know, to be able to finish that aspect of it, so that we can reduce the losses, you know, where it has to do with the IPPs. But in the meantime, what we want to do is to restore some transparency in the system, restore the cash waterfall mechanism, so that we stabilize the situation until we're able to carry out all the reforms in that sector. The cocoa sector was doing very well. Unfortunately, I think the new management that was put in by this government has not been as good, and so we've seen a collapse in cocoa production. Part of it is due to climate change, but part of it is also that the farmers do not receive a fair price for their product, because if the farmers receive a fair price and they have a good income flow from cocoa, they're not going to sell their cocoa farm to somebody to come and cut down the trees and exploit and explore for gold. So those are all things we want to see, what reforms we bring into the cocoa sector to cut the size of this humongous state enterprise called Cocoa Board that spends 3.4 billion CDs on itself every year.
Inside of war, from this video, you can tell, say, Mr. President Mahama, the near brain, any kunejuma hopa, and ye easy, but Akuffo the over behagana for pan. Uti in some President Mahama kind and say, your year to homono, MPP by and Cromwa ye be uncount. The old Hona no more maintain ya to say 8 years in between. And it's so sad. Or see it, or man, you hear man, yet is castle comedy, Mahama the Dumsor about baby any ye, Umuba won't me any ye. The old Hona, Yamidana, or baby Yuzuye, and you were still blaming my President Mahama son no the Dumsor by. Now, of when found Fantunchen, Captain Smart, Ababe reveal a choir. President Mahama, Afaso, Asovi Dumsor situation, ye names almost a gas in your mind when we produce electricity. Na uti in semwa Captain Smart debetuja my lineups as to how omofa sunya gas ni bikra na is so amazing. And Mahama is President Mahama is one of the best presidents I think that Ghana has ever had, including this era yasenyano in his regime. Yenshe video no na eba mami hu adwen share e wo comment ni mu.
Mahama knew already Akuffo ntimi nkra fuel man. Tinubu so na owo Nigeria obetime ma fuel to be special guest. Now why am special guest na me ho cheme na me se boame a. We ka chem se wo moame. We ni paboni. Owie ye no e no de Olusegun Obasanjo e betena ho. E na osan so de Goodluck Jonathan na danfo enso be teto. Se eyire so a se Tinubu otie Olusegun Obasanjo. Osan so tie eye Goodluck Jonathan, so that these two guys can talk to him. That is why quickly Mahama, he's just picked the phone. Mahama the phone call. Akuffo the letter. Mahama, you saw a phone call. I'm telling you today. This is the kind of a president God has given us. Me, Mahama didn't send phone. Me kind of he is aware. Me, Mahama. Abawe, me meka o. They know. They know, say, me, I don't have a permanent friend. I have a permanent interest. It's me bad, man, me jajebi yo. I don't have a kaba. Me, I don't have a permanent friend, though. I have a permanent interest. But I'm not selfish. Far phone. Tinubu Akoduru. Say, I need an emergency fuel. I say, why? I say, your friend. Your friend. Na that for pan to the bunkwa from you. Your friend. So and 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 so. So by the night of 8th January, I will not have fuel in my country. I said, really? This is how he managed the country before he left. Yes, that is your friend. Ah, so you don't have fuel in Ghana, the star of Africa. Ah, it is good you called me on the phone. Hey, quickly, I'm going to arrange, you get emergency fuel. As I'm talking to you now, because of Mahama, there's emergency fuel on the way coming to Ghana. There's emergency fuel on the way. Why can Akuffo be such a wicked person? How can you do this to us? Because you think that we'll call Baumia when Mahama neba to won you know mine home, or you know Mahama home. As against 34 million people. No fuel. Emergency fuel, ya deba, ya mobwo, tiemi ye. Ya deba, actually a quote figure amount. and yano. This is how Nanado the Ghana could do some Baumia no Akufo no. Say I say Baumia baby. Anyway, Akufo so pe Baumia or so pe a Brian Champo. Akufo have I can we grab trip. Akufo the Fred Baumia to Ghana for to Abama Kremoni. Inti jai. Mem
Inti Addo senya mote ya no Captain Smart and Obieki ma ya ha chen ye kwan a President Mahama afaso afreso mufa oyo ni bimbra and Addo Ghana be ye. All what you have to do is vote wisely and choose the good leaders. Cause sometimes we can metina say wonder metie campaign promise Akuffo de buy a pan we share juma aba ye na e wo mse wa ye bidie but it's not encouraging. Obi anka no asempa. Hi, I am Malik Basintali updates. Mami who are doing your comments. Subscribe, like it, na share video no for more updates.